Roaming gnome. Book with Travelocity. Don't forget your hat.
At water coolers, in schools, and on the air, the talk this day after perhaps the best Super Bowl played on the field. The talk is not of a game for the ages, but a halftime show with a moment that surprised, shocked, amused, or angered millions. The Janet Jackson moment was the most notorious, but not the only vignette from Super Bowl Sunday. It is a day like no other, as Americans commune in front of their television to watch a game and perhaps see themselves reflected in what they are offered as entertainment. Super Bowl halftimes were once standard Main Street entertainment.
You ought to be in pictures. Oh, what a hit you would be.
Sunday's halftime followed the recent Super Bowl pattern of multiple superstars and departed from the recorded script at the end of the Justin Timberlake Janet Jackson number. By midday Monday, the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission had launched an investigation. Earlier, the incident was the first item of business at Commissioner Paul Tagliabue's press conference.
I just want to say one thing about the halftime entertainment, which we found offensive, embarrassing to us and our fans, and inappropriate. We will change our policies, our people, and our processes before the next Super Bowl to ensure that this entertainment is far more effectively dealt with and is of far more appropriate quality for the Super Bowl game.
Beyond the infamous exposure is the greater issue of taste in the one telecast that usually draws more Americans than any other. The now ritual crotch grabbing of musical artists, and an assortment of commercials that today were criticized. Equine flatulence. A dog trained to attack at crotch level. And among commercials for all three erectile dysfunction drugs, perhaps the most explicit copy yet.
Erections lasting longer than 4 hours, though rare, require immediate medical help.
All of which may have rendered the appearance of a streaker with an ad tattooed on his body rather quaint by comparison. CC Chairman Michael Powell, in ordering an official investigation, said, quote, "I am outraged at what I saw during the halftime show of the Super Bowl. Like millions of Americans, my family and I gathered around the television for a celebration. Instead, that celebration was tainted by a classless, crass, and deplorable stunt. Our nation's children, parents, and citizens deserve better." To consider last night, the game, the commercials, and the larger issues of what is proper, we say good evening to Chris Conley, who reports for ESPN and the ABC News program 2020. He's also worked at Rolling Stone and been the editorial director of MTV News. Ananda Lewis has worked at MTV and hosted her own talk show. And Phil Mushnick is a media columnist for the New York Post. Welcome all. All right, Chris, at the end of the day, we've got an FCC probe. We've got columnists and critics criticizing some of these commercials. What do you make of all of this?
Well, I like the halftime show, except for the last few seconds there. I think MTV probably feels the same way. Did they know that Janet was going to bare her breast? No. Did they plan that Janet was going to bare her breast? No. Are they embarrassed and disappointed that she did that? Yes. So as far as I can see, it's sort of in the realm of what happens on live TV with a live performer. It's Janet's call. I don't hold MTV responsible any more than I hold ABC Sports for Shaq going off during his live broadcast earlier that day.
But Ananda, this is the moment when 140 million Americans are gathered around their television. You know a lot of these performers. Put us inside the mindset of someone who would conceive to do this.
Well, 140 million viewers, you want your name remembered of everything else that goes on. I'm not saying that's their motivation, but certainly any artist wants to promote themselves. That's a lot of what making your money is about. So from that perspective, I think, you know, there's definitely something to be said. We're talking about it now, and every news station I watched today was mentioning it. So if that was the goal, certainly it was achieved. And I think on the other hand, a lot of performers are becoming parents now, and I think it's changing the way they even perceive their own performances and what they will and will not do. It's a question of taste, and taste is a personal thing. But when you're talking about 140 million American viewers and who knows how many worldwide viewers, there really is a question of being able to protect your kids from something the whole family should be able to watch. And what do you do when something like that happens? I know in my family, my 6 godkids are being raised by their grandparents, and their grandmother didn't even have enough time to go like this to the 10-year-old's eyes. So I think it puts parents in a predicament and also gives them an opportunity to discuss these kind of things with their kids.
Well, Phil, there was that moment with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. There were the questionable commercials. What do you make of it all?
Well, it seems to be, to me, to be the latest and logical conclusions, Bob. The NFL's been headed in this direction for a long time. Just look at its NFL, the new NFL Network commercials now. Scenes at a urinal, vulgar expressions being used. The last few Super Bowls had all that crotch grabbing. This is inappropriate. I'm not a prude. I do a lot of things I'm not particularly proud of, but I don't do them in a sports milieu. I don't do them in public. I don't promote them for ratings. In the case of this Janet Jackson thing, her choreographer said on, I believe, Thursday, prior to the Super Bowl, that something shocking was going to happen. The NFL, 10 years ago, the NFL saw Michael Jackson come out and start grabbing his crotch, highly inappropriate by anyone's standards for a football game on a Sunday afternoon. The NFL could have said, we're going to ensure that no more of these acts appear. Instead, what did we get? Nelly and people said that it was reported that Janet Jackson was wearing a gladiator outfit. Her and her dance troupe were dressed as in S&M costumes. I've never seen a gladiator wear a red Speedo and a leather vest.
Hardly, Chris Conley, a ringing endorsement of the other aspects of that halftime.
Well, I thought it was contemporary music. It's music that the athletes enjoy, and it's music that is very popular in our culture. I appreciate and have respected for many years Phil's overall critique of American culture, but that is what pop culture is. Those songs that were played there are big, fat hits that people of all ages and types have enjoyed. I don't find that offensive any more than I find the close-ups of Jake Delhomme saying the MF word to a Patriot after the 85-yard pass, or John Fox mouthing his feeling about the spotting of the ball on fourth down.
Phil?
I don't find those offensive.
Those are presumably things that happen in the heat of value. I enjoy sex. I enjoy drinking. I'm not going to get drunk in the Super Bowl on camera, and I'm not going to have sex on camera. That's part of popular culture, too. There is a sense, there's a sense, where's our common decency? Where's our common sense? This is pop culture. Everybody likes that music. Does everybody like that music? Is everybody told to like that music?
Well, the record sales reflect that most people do like that music.
Chris,
and I think what it boils down to is the fact that parents have to be a lot more diligent as to what their kids are exposed to. And you can't
meanwhile,
take their
while the
responsibility
is being fought, we have teen pregnancy going down, we have teen crime rates going down.
I'm not arguing. No, I'm not sure about the teen pregnancy or crime rates based on... I'm just saying that if I invited you into my house for the Super Bowl and you started grabbing your crotch or exposing your breast, and I know you're not in favor of that, or using inappropriate language or dancing, bumping and grinding, rear end to rear end, I'd call the cops.
Ananda, I hear you...
You'd call the cops if I did that in your house.
Ananda, you talk about some of the performers now becoming parents and having a sensitivity, but at the same time we hear a great deal of talk about the coarsening of America. So how do you rectify those two?
Well, again, I think it begins with parents, and I think, the trickle down. What's sad is that television, whether you like it or not, is raising your kids on some level. The TV spends more hours in a day with most kids than their own parents do. And
but what's the expectation of what you should see?
They're going to see.
What's the expectation of what you should see at halftime of a Super Bowl and in the commercials within a Super Bowl?
I completely agree. There's a time and place for everything, and this was not the right time for that to be happening. I mean, you expect that when you turn to MTV. We're known for cutting edge. We're known for being risque. That's fine when it's MTV Awards. I do agree that at halftime at Super Bowl, that's not the right place for it. And I think we still got to prepare our kids. They're going to see all this stuff anyway.
And I think that's on Janet.
Why would anyone want to be known for being
an MTV thing and a halftime show at a Super Bowl?
And I think it's so sad it overshadowed Beyonce's amazing rendition of the national anthem. She blew that thing out of here. And then at the end of the day, all we get to talk about is Janet and the rest.
We're talking a little bit about the commercials. Chris, let me ask you about the specter, though, of major American companies putting spending $2 million for a 30-second spot and putting things out which some have criticized today. Many
You're
have.
Right. I didn't like the flatulence ad at all. I don't like that bathroom stuff. I don't like my kids around seeing that bathroom stuff. So it means if I have to leave during the commercials,
that's pop culture.
I'll do that.
But Chris, that's pop culture.
I get to make the choice. I'll take the kids out of the room. I'll tell them I don't like it.
We don't have a choice.
With that. I didn't particularly like the specter of the space guy going on top of the moon and planting the flag in the middle of the tribute to the shuttle astronauts. I thought that was kitschy and inappropriate. But again, that's my choice, which I can communicate to my kids.
All right, one question. I need a quick response.
We're always told,
Phil, who's responsible?
We're always all right, a quick thing.
Well, we're
always
running out of
told
time. Who's
that
responsible?
You can't, who's responsible? We're all responsible.
Ananda, who's responsible?
Every one of us.
I think individuals have to be responsible. Janet and Justin are responsible, as well as the people they work for.
Chris, who's responsible in the final
I think Janet's
analysis?
responsible. I'd like her to apologize.
All right,
And
Chris
take
Conley.
responsibility, right, Chris? Yes.
All right, Chris,
Just say,
Ananda.
I did it. I had a pasty. It was planned.
Thank you so much. Phil Mushnick,
Thank you.
Ananda, Chris, I appreciate it. Next, Outside Opinion on our examination of all things, and this is what we call a segue in television of the lingerie ball.